All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Rational Investor. This is Julian doing your baby powder report, reporting in from not the Death Star, the green screen only background, which isn't working right now because I'm waiting for my new green screen. This one sucks. So I have to get a new green screen. It will be here by the next show. I thought it would be here by this show, but it wasn't. So, just bear with me a little bit. Next show, maybe I'll have some very exciting background. Perhaps we will change it every week based on the theme of the market. And the theme this week would probably be like everything's burning, the house is on fire. Although I'm celebrating personally. If it was my personal background, I would change it to like party theme, everything. I mean, I've had some amazing trades. You guys know that I've been consistently still bearish on the market, especially the S&P 500. I don't think we're out of this bear market yet, although I think it's nearing the end. But that's just one thing we're going to get into today. We're going to talk about the big options expiry tomorrow. We're going to look at the dashboard. The breath predicted this collapse. If you've been trading the breath, you've been killing it. Okay, if you don't have access to our breath, I highly suggest it. I think Josh, who did some of our original breath studies, he's been taking trades on the breath, and he said that he did a 2x long on Bitcoin on the breath original long signal back when Bitcoin was under, I think it was under 16,000, and he made a 68% return on his total portfolio with that trade. I might want to get him on the show maybe to talk you guys through that trade. I think he did a really great job just following the breath. We're going to look at investor sentiment. How has it changed from last week? I talked about that and the importance of investor sentiment. And, we're going to see what's going on with crypto versus the S&P 500, because there's definitely been some big changes where before Bitcoin was really hardcore following the S&P, and now it's kind of diverging. A lot of things are diverging. Things are not following each other like they were before. We're in a bit of a weird state. Chris, why don't you shrink me down? Let's take a look at the dashboard first. We're going to look at investor sentiment, options, a couple things like that, and then we'll go look at the market. All right, so I gotta change my screen share actually. Right now I'm sharing the wrong screen. I want to share actually this dashboard. I want to share this share. Okay, and we're gonna move it over here. All right, so S&P, you can see on the dashboard, it crossed over on the 16th and confirmed on the 17th. So also, if you were trading the S&P 500 breath, you would have gotten a trigger on the 17th. And right, where's the 17th? 17th is right here. You would have shorted right in this area, right up here. This was your trigger to go short. And if you shorted here and then maybe one more time here and just set your stops a bit above the highs, you would have been in two amazing positions, and you could have rode down over 100-point move. That's big. That's big. I mean, I did it. Okay. And I have one high risk portfolio, and sorry, I realized I'm only sharing the dashboard and not the actual trading chart. But if you had shorted on the 17th and you would have wrote it down over 100 points in my one high risk portfolio. If the trade went against me, I would have lost $100. But if it went for me and I just closed out the position recently, I would make I think I made over $2,000. It was a pretty incredible trade. I'll show you guys later. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll pull it up and show you guys that trade. Just recently closed it out because I feel like we're kind of flatlining. I'll show you. We'll go through that when I pull up the S&P. But yeah, the breath went short on the 17th, so definitely pay attention to that. Let's look at crypto. What did crypto do? Crypto breath also, I think, triggered short. But when? So here's crypto universe breath. Crypto universe breath crossed over short on the 9th, and crypto top 30 breath crossed over short on the 16th was the confirmation. 15th was here, 16th was confirmation right there, and then everything just dumped after that. Look at that sell-off. Wow, it really called it way ahead of time. This is one of the best performances and most obvious that I've seen of the breath in a while. So yeah, only a couple days ago, I would have talked about this last week, but last week when I was talking, it was the 13th. So, it came in a couple days later. If you guys remember last week, I was kind of conflicted on if we broke 4,000 and headed way higher or if we rolled over. We'll talk about that when we get to the charts. Let's look at the options expiry. Tomorrow is a big options expiry. We've got 390 with the high call interest and 400 with the high put interest. So we're kind of locked between 390 and 400. Where are we at right now? Let me just 1 second. I know you're not seeing the different screens, but if I pull up, I'll just go here and we'll change the Litecoin chart I've got to S&P SPY. So SPY is right now at 389. I think it's very likely, and from what I'm seeing, why don't we, I went over that. Let's just change the screen picture and we will go to the trading view charts. All right, trading view charts here. So there you go. Let's go to like a 4-hour. Okay. So you can see on this 4-hour, we had a major breakdown, major breakdown right here. Oh, by the way, we also had some pretty negative econ news that came out, and we had the FUD with crypto, but I think the FUD with crypto was kind of a nothing burger. I think it was more so, following the S&P. That was just kind of some random news event to spook people for some reason. I think there will be a higher rebound in Bitcoin. We'll talk about that when we get there. I think it was just to spook out some weak hands. But you can see the S&P broke down hard on the 18th. If you're following your breath, obviously you would have been short from the 17th. But the 18th was the trigger for RSI on the 4-hour chart. And now we're coming into a 7. So I used chaos levels, and final chaos target for this leg is 3855. We've hit the 3.59 at 3891, and we're coming into a 7. One of two things is going to happen. We're going to get either a flush like this and then a bounce, okay, to this 390 area probably, or we're just going to bounce from here up to this 3920, 3950 area. That's what I'm seeing. I think we need a bounce, and then we'll roll over further. That okay. Let's go down to a 1-hour time frame. You can see kind of the divergence coming in on the 1 hour, right? Perfect divergence here. 15 minutes, extremely obvious, right? So price made a lower low, and RSI made a higher high. If we graph our RSI like this, you can see it's just pushing over right now. So the question is, does it confirm above this downtrend line on the 15-minute, or do we get one more push lower, right down to this 38.54 level? 4.669 is not always hit. It's not often. There have been many times when we go to 3.59 and it reverses. You can see how well these levels were respected, by the way. This is how I know I drew this correctly. 1.618 was slightly respected and then just dropped further. The selling was too strong. 2.618 was massively respected. And then we just dumped, tagged 3, and then we bounced between 3 and 3.59. Oftentimes price does bounce between these two levels before hitting the final target. And yeah, you can see how this is very obvious levels that worked extremely well. They usually do work well in these kind of impulsive big push down moves. So let's see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they flush it this low and then bounce it back up to make sure they get that options expiry pin above 3390, right? They can't expire down here. They can't expire down here. They have to expire up here if they want to get that options pin. And I think the market makers do. Usually they don't like to be on one side or the other. Usually they'll pin it because that's when they make the max amount of profit, especially in a big options expiry, which it is. This is the biggest one of the month. Third week of the month is usually the biggest options expiry. So we'll see what happens here. If you're a bear, this is not a bad little short area. Just jump in, put your stop right over here, 3907 or so, and put your take profit at 38.55. What kind of risk reward does that give you? Let's say if you did that little trade right there, right? Stop right there, target here, and boom, risk to 7.5 to 1 risk reward. So you can be wrong. Like you can get stopped out 5 times. As long as this eventually hits, you're in profit. I like that little trade. If I was not on this show, I would probably take it. Okay, so let's go to a daily chart. Let's talk about it from like a higher time frame perspective. What's kind of happening here? So maybe a 3-day chart. All right. So you can see here, I'm going to hide this. We don't need to see this little chaos thing. This is too confusing. Visibility. I want to see it on a daily chart. You can see my levels I've drawn. I don't think we actually need these levels on this higher time frame chart like this. Visibility, let's get it out of the way. Okay. All right. So this is my wave series that I drew. We had a wave 1, a wave 2 rebound, and I'm expecting this to be a wave 3. There might be a slight pause tomorrow, but then it should just cascade down into this 3650, 3600 area, either right here or right here. This is the midpoint of this downtrend channel. It would make sense to head all the way down here. Then I expect a big bounce for wave 4 and then a final wave 5 to just go below these lows. Maybe just tag this area again, the midpoint, before then we get our big bounce. And that would make sense with what I'm seeing kind of here, right? So if this is our uptrend RSI line, I could see RSI breaking down just to come down here, which would confirm this whole pattern. So this is kind of my like long-term plan. And I am in some longer term shorts that I piled into on the way up. I've been shorting since pretty much right in this area right here. I started adding to my shorts around January 9th, January 10th, and I kept adding as we went up here. And now some of them are in profit. SQQ shorts are in large profits, my puts and my my ones on spot. SQQ, for anyone doesn't know, it's a 3-time ETF short on the QQQs, which generally follows the S&P 500. Not exactly, but it does generally follow. So those are a nice profit. I also have a short on NVIDIA. NVIDIA rolled over pretty hard here. You can see on the 1 hour, big breakdown. I have until February, mid-February next month. So I've got plenty of time. I gave myself over a month of time, 5 weeks, when I originally bought them. And you can also see this was my downtrend channel. So as long as NVIDIA closes below 160 in the next couple of days, I'm in big profits. It doesn't have to fall much further for me to be in nice profits on that position as well. So that's kind of my higher time frame plan for the S&P and basically any other stocks. You can see on the daily, it's just been a waterfall lower, right? Go to a 4 hour. The real question, like I said, is do we rebound here and sit up here for the options close tomorrow, or do we keep rolling over and we go down to this 3850 level? That's kind of, I don't have a clear answer yet. Right now, things are definitely embedded to the downside, and we need to see a push above this 50 EMA to confirm upside, but there really isn't a lot of upside. It'll probably just go up here and take out this area 3930 before then continuing lower. So be cautious with those longs and getting too bullish. I just wouldn't be too bullish here. You can see on the daily chart, right? If we do this uptrending RSI line, we're already breaking down from that. I can go to a lower time frame, like a 12 hour, right? So there's your breakdown, kind of like that. There's your, we do have this lower one. If you look at that, yep, even that broke down. Let's go to an 8 hour. Oftentimes I find 8 hours work very well. Yeah, RSI breakdown, 8 hour. Yeah, this big breakdown, serious breakdown in the S&P. I would be very careful with longs. And the only reason I took profits on my short is because of my high leverage account. That I just would rather take profits. That is a small account that I use to pay for all my expenses. And what I can tell you after this drop, it covers me for the next month. I'm covered. And I will be taking about 40% out of that portfolio to kind of cover general expenses. And then I'll build it up again. I think I will start tracking it. I just haven't kind of figured out like a good way to track it that is like trustworthy. Like everyone is happy with it. So I'm thinking about how best to do that, but I will start doing it. I think it'll be extremely beneficial to members to see how a extremely high leverage, Brian would call it like high octane portfolio is traded. Now I do have other portfolios with no leverage, which I take with much bigger size, but the risk is in a way lower because the position can move a lot against me and I'm still fine. But with high leverage, if it moves even a little bit against me, I'm stopped out like that. Like we're talking 4 or 5 points many times. Like on this drop, I will admit I had 3 positions and I got stopped out on one of the 3 right up here at 40, 41, 4011 or something, 4011, 4012. I got stopped out of one of them. Luckily, the others I had stops at 4,000, 4,018 and then 4,030 or 4,025. So I didn't get stopped out of those other 2. I often take multiple positions and set multiple stops just in case of something like that with the high leverage account. Okay, that's the S&P. I can look at Nvidia. Nvidia is one of my shorts. Big breakdown. I don't see anything positive here. You see a 9 came in on the 4-hour. Makes sense for a bit of a reversal. I've got a big gap down here at 150. I don't see why this can't reverse and head down here if the S&P does what I expect. Another one I've been watching, I've been watching Tesla and Meta. So Tesla's starting to break down here. I think you could consider starting to hunt shorts in Tesla if you're so inclined. This is the daily kind of breaking down here. No, 4-hour, sorry, 4-hour kind of breaking down. Oh, I hate this. I have to do this full screen, but it doesn't work very well. There you can see there's this gap. This gap could be filled and then we roll over. So I have to be careful. On a daily, it hasn't confirmed a breakdown. We are oversold on the 30-minute chart. There are 9s on the 30 and 60-minute. So it makes sense for a possible rebound to happen here. And then you can maybe consider looking for shorts. The one problem is that the daily on Tesla has not crossed lower. Okay, it's still holding on. But the 4-hour has, and it's kind of giving me a bit of confidence, but it is a bit of a conflicting scenario. Sorry, that's the S&P. Why am I on the S&P? Tesla, 4-hour broke down. Let's look at the daily. Daily broke up, but is it a fake out? We have to see. If this breaks down further, it's definitely, we can definitely head lower for sure. See, a 7 and 8 have come in on Tom DeMark. Those are warning signs. When this 7 came in, that was your warning sign to exit longs. Or if you're just paying attention to the breath, of course. All right, so that's a 1-hour breakdown right here, right? But we have a 9 that came in. So again, makes sense for a little bit of a push higher and then we'll final rollover. Meta. Talked about Meta. Been watching Meta. Yeah, look, it's already kind of, Meta is very strong, but there was definitely a 1-hour breakdown. Now we're rebounding into resistance. And on this 4-hour, extremely strong on the daily chart. This is what happens when you have a daily chart that's very strong. Like even though the S&P is breaking down, Meta, because it's so strong in the daily chart, is really holding on. I think we will get a breakdown. We have to fill this gap. This gap fill will happen. I can actually do like I can look at this entire rally. It's had quite the rally. Like if you'd long below 100, you're in very nice profits on just spot. A healthy pullback for Meta to continue with this bull trend would be the 38.2 area. Just come down, wash out all the longs that entered after the rally started, wash out all these late longs, fill the gap. This 120 area would be a perfect fill before it continues higher. You can even see if, we draw a little uptrend line here. We'd come down to this 125. I think we'd have to push lower through that uptrend line, but that could act as resistance. But this one I would be careful shorting. It's just too bullish right now. I would be extremely careful for something like Meta. Okay, so those are a couple stocks I'm watching. If anybody has any requests on YouTube or something like that, just post them, and then I think Chris will tell me. I'm not running YouTube right now because I'm trying to. The video that I'm sending through is using a lot of CPU, and so I'm trying to not have too many things loaded. Anyway, let's move over to DXY. Everything is kind of controlled a bit by the DXY and VIX. I think, let's look at VIX first. VIX. So look at the VIX. This was also a big warning sign, right? VIX had a 7 and 8 that came in and a CD5 for me, which is a large divergence. 5 different divergences we're confirming. And you can see how even just on the RSI, right? Obvious divergence here, normal divergence and big bounce. They took out all the lows going back to all the way back to January last year. Basically January last year, we haven't been this low on the VIX. The market was way overdue for a bounce. Question is, can the VIX break out higher? because you can see how it ran right into resistance and got rejected. So if we can push above this, then the sky's the limit, and my wave 3 scenario becomes a reality. But right now, no clear confirmation from RSI. Obviously, the crypto breath is extremely negative, and that's kind of a bit of a confirmation. But I want to see a push above this trend line to really feel better about the market rolling over. DXY is not performing as well as I had hoped it would. It's not looking great on this daily chart. This is not the kind of action I want to see. I wanted to see a bounce. I really wanted to see a bounce in this market roll over. I'm not seeing much. It's kind of just stagnant, which makes the move even more impressive because it doesn't have the US dollar working against it. This was my accumulation zone for getting long the US dollar, and it's just been like sitting down here doing nothing. Weekly is extremely weak, does not look good down here, barely being held onto by this uptrending channel. 3-day chart, just not looking great. This is the one thing that concerns me with my kind of bearish views, I should say, my bearish views. You have this little 4-hour uptrend, but you can see the entire thing is red, right? Just red across the board. This is not a good sign. This is not something that is telling me, okay, buy. It's not. It's the opposite. It's sell, still sell. So right now, the biggest headwind for markets is the US dollar. US dollar just looks like crap. I mean, somebody is dumping this for sure. Somebody is definitely dumping this. The Fed, if they want to save the dollar here from this further decline, really has to do something, because we're just riding on this trend line, and we could easily just follow an ABCD, right? Like this. And we could just dump right down here to 99. I don't see why that couldn't happen. Big support from a previous zone right here. And that would not be great for bears or anyone that would like prices to go lower, or in my case, likes things to be cheaper in other countries. We're talking about currencies. I mean, Thai baht, my rent I was celebrating back here when we were at 38, and I did convert a good amount of money from US dollars to Thai baht. But now, I mean, you can see essentially what has happened is, for me, from October to now, things have basically increased in price by 15% everywhere in the entire country. It doesn't look great. It does look like it's trying to bottom out, but so far nothing, no real reversals. It makes sense there's support in this area, but I would definitely like to see some type of reversal to the upside, but it looks like that's kind of been squished with this rollover on the weekly chart. And you can see how it paused here, right up here at 34, and then just rolled over further. Really shockingly extreme move. Did not expect this. I really thought there'd be pauses and bounces, but the market just boom, done. All right, so that's Thai baht. Let's look at, normally I like to look at gold and oil. Look at oil first. See if oil is trying to start following my plan. Nope, it went totally outside of my channel. Wow, look at that. Shocking. Can't really adjust this channel. This is how it should be. And you can see the daily is confirmed on the other side of the channel. Did not follow my third wave, and basically a kind of a W forming almost. No confirmation, but it could confirm this little ugly W. Major push to the upside. That would be a major push to upside. And you can see even here, right? This is a W in price action. Hasn't confirmed yet, but if it does, that's a lot of different confirmation. And chaos, if we use chaos tells us we should go all the way up to $113 a barrel. That would be a bit of a crisis for certain economies if that happens again. But I think that's just a function of the US dollar. But with a Tom DeMark 8 is putting a pause on this. You can see when it's coming in before 8, 9, pause, decline every single time. It's either at least a pause or a decline. This time it pushed a little bit higher and then pulled back. There have been times when it's just pushed higher. this could be one of those times where the signal doesn't work at all. So, I think I might start hunting. So this scenario is dead. I think you can start hunting longs in oil. I honestly think that this can move all the way up to 110 bucks, which is the uptrending channel from our previous, the bottom of the channel from the previous uptrend right there. Just kind of, if we went straight up, by mid-February, we're at 110. Really very possible scenario. So don't be too bearish on oil anymore. Okay, so that's oil. Let's look at gold. Gold is the other oil, right? Gold is just on fire here, nonstop. And I'm pissed about this because and I've talked about this on every show. I wanted to get into gold after the crossover right here, which is basically where oil is. And it could just shoot up, same like gold did. And I wanted a pullback, but I didn't get the pullback I wanted. I wanted a pullback all the way down to this below around 1680 area, 1650. This area, I would have loved to have seen a pullback, even lower, stop out all these lows, fake people out, and then head higher. But it just didn't do it. It went straight up. And I totally missed the move. Pissed about that. I really am. And it doesn't look like, if the US dollar can't do anything and it just keeps heading lower, there's no reason why oil or gold shouldn't head lower. If we go to a higher time frame too, we can see the reason gold's pausing right here is because we're in this massive uptrend channel. If I go to 2-week chart, right? So this is my 2-week massive uptrend channel chart on gold. Okay, see how well these levels are all respected? We're right at that midpoint. So if gold was going to reverse anywhere, it would be right here. But it's not doing it. The bid on it is so strong that it just doesn't want to go lower, much to my annoyance. You can see the daily is super strong and overbought actually. And then the weekly chart is starting to get overbought. We do have an 8 on the daily, but I don't think it's going to affect things. I think we can easily just push up and be at 2000 before we know it. Just go all the way up to 2000, give no one a chance to get in. Yeah, obviously a little bit pissed about that. I could have 10x the portfolio on this move. This was the move I was waiting for literally a year. I was waiting for this gold move and I just missed it. That's what happens when you don't watch things closely. You only get on a good trade. They're not gonna give you more than a day or two. You got to watch it every day, and then you take that trade. That if you want to be in like a longer term trade and you want to get a good entry, an entry that you are confident in, you get 1 day, 2 days max per like every couple of months. It's brutal. Okay, so that's gold. I don't see any ending in sight. It's much higher than I wanted it to be. I want to pull back, but it's not. They're not giving you anything here. Okay, somebody asked to look at Netflix. We're kind of beyond the stocks, but I will go back and look at Netflix. All right, 3-day chart on Netflix. Netflix looks like it's rolling over hard. This would be maybe a nice short. 3-day didn't fully confirm yet, but I bet if I go to a daily, I don't know what these random fibs are. These are some very old. What are these random fibs I have on the chart here? Delete that. So from this low, it should be here. This low all the way up to this high would be the entire range of Netflix. And I would think that we would flip it. Style, reverse. Okay. You can see how we basically tag 78.6. Let me adjust so we line up with that level a little bit better. Yeah, that fits actually. That's what I'd like to I'd like to see. Is long-term levels are decently respected. So if we go to a daily chart, right, like this. We haven't rolled over yet, no real confirmation, but it's not looking great here. We have a 9 that came in, pull back, but we're still in this like kind of almost a bear flag. If you look at like a weekly chart, right? Wouldn't this kind of look like a bear flag? Like big dump, bear flag, bear rally. This has been quite a long rally. It started in June on Netflix. That was the bottom, June, July, and we rallied since then. So if we say that kind of that's the bottom of our channel and that's the top of our channel, I need to see a breakdown from this channel to really get kind of bearish on Netflix. Until then, it's just straight up. You need that wave 3 on the market. I don't think I'll be shocked if we see Netflix below 300. I think this back here at 180 was the bottom. If I go to weekly chart, I mean, the weekly does look like it's petering out. So 180 was the bottom unless we break down from this channel. If we break down, we can easily head lower, maybe stop out people at the lows. There's going to have to be some serious market calamity for that to happen. I want to see a breakdown on the RSI on the weekly chart. I just don't see it yet. Once I see that, then I can start, kind of getting more bearish and looking at taking short positions. I think right now it's a little bit risky, just a little bit. I think there are better shorts, but if you, let's say you wanted to take this, if you really wanted to take this, 4-hour did roll over nicely here. But if you did want to take this, let's say you did it right now, shorted right now. Say your stop above the highs, right? And you can say your first take profit at these lows down here. But it's just a 1.5 to 1 risk reward. It's not good. If you can count on an M confirmation, so if I flip that, right? M confirmation would put you down here. I don't know why it's using this weird thing, which would point to a price of $68. That would be pretty crazy risk reward, right? So if that's your target all the way down here, then that gives you a 12 to 1. But I think it's pretty extreme. I would prefer to wait for this all to be broken down and then short on the other side. I think that's a safer bet. Until then, you assume we're in an uptrend and you long the lower end of the uptrend. It's like this would be right, this, and then you long from here. So hopefully that makes sense. On Netflix, careful with shorts. Short term, you could get one, like on the 1 hour, right? To go with everything else that I'm kind of looking at. You could definitely see a move lower here to this area, but maybe fill this gap at 280. But I can't get too bearish unless, like I said, the certain breakdowns occur. Okay, so that's Netflix. I was looking at commodities, oil, gold. Is there any other thing I want to look at? I mean, I guess we can look at silver. I don't really mess with silver too much, but we can take a quick peek at it. All right, silver. I'm gonna delete. What was this, by the way? This is my downside. You can see how we only hit that 3.59 on the downside. We didn't get to the 4.669, $17. We just got to the bottom end of this channel at 17. So gold or silver has been an extreme rally with gold. But look how it's breaking down. It's really breaking down. Go to a daily chart. There's kind of your breakdown, right? On the RSI. But I want to see a break below the VIP line. Unlike gold, your uptrend on, oh, nope, not exactly. Look at, there's your line still intact. So no real breakdown on silver yet. It could just be consolidating before a move higher. If this is a consolidation accumulation zone, I mean, your ABCD takes you all the way up to here. Right there. $30. Not a bad move. I can think of better trades, but not bad. I mean, this could confirm a, if I move this a little bit higher, extend it, it's possible that this was your bull flag for gold and we broke out and now we're getting ready to make the next leg higher. And this is ultimately the target up here would be in this area, the old highs from 2011 for gold or silver. I'm sorry. So a bit of a pullback first, I think, and then can push higher again. The daily just looks a bit washed out. I want to see a bit more of a pullback, but if you don't get a pullback, then this is simply consolidation. Weekly, it looks like it still looks pretty strong. So a consolidation here makes sense to me. Kind of wash out any options, stuff like that, and major gold or silver indexes before you W out, which it looks like the daily is preparing to do, and then you just take off higher. So if you're thinking long on silver, you can set your entry right here, set your stop. I would go below this low here. I think you're going to get stop run anywhere in this area. So I'd go below this low, and then you just set your target at the ABCD point, and it's a 7-to-1 risk reward. Not a bad trade. I like it better than gold, that's for sure. Okay, so that's silver. What time is this? 12:50. Let's go to crypto. Let's just go to crypto. I think it's time to take a quick look. 3-day chart. Here was my original downtrending channel that totally got blasted through. It makes sense we had this big rally, right? Because we blasted through this downtrend channel. We also blasted through this other downtrending line, and we've just kind of taken off. We didn't hit my 5 on my wave structure. Everything kind of just skipped confirming my last part. It was the last part, and it just all just skipped out. Look at that. Skipped out. So frustrating. 7 and 8 came in. It makes sense we're pausing here. I again, it's the same like the S&P. Either we get a pullback or we just bounce. This is going to be much more bullish than the S&P though. It just doesn't want to pull back at all. And I think you can expect a upside target. If this is your range, chaos would point to an upside target of about 1.1 trillion. That would be a upside target that makes sense. You could even go down here, but we already hit that. So then your range is basically from here to here. That's your range. And 4.669 could even be up here. Oh, very possible that you could hit right above 1 trillion and then 1.2 trillion to take out all the highs. Basically anything since June of last year would be taken out. And if we look at this as like an ABCD, where does that point to? Right up here, 1.1 trillion. Yeah, so that's something I could definitely see. I mean, here's the washout yesterday on that news. I got to see what the S&P does. If the S&P pushes lower, then crypto will as well. We could always pull back to this area, but it really depends on what the S&P does. I don't think crypto is going to move exactly with it in percentage terms, but there will certainly be some connection. It's not totally removed. Pull back to 38.2 would make sense, this 877 area, or even 50%. So let's see what happens there. I'm going to look at Bitcoin. I think that's easier actually for you guys to understand than the total. I just feel like the total gives better signals. Bitcoin hit if we were looking at chaos, Bitcoin hit my 2.618 target. Actually, I think I can expand this a bit more. So 2.618 would be kind of in that area more so. And it pulled back, and now it's kind of stagnating here. The question is, do we get a pullback to this 1.618, which can often happen, and then a move higher, or do we just go higher from here? Again, comes down to S&P. Ultimate target is 2,500. I think that makes a lot of sense. It takes you all the way to the highs. We can get a push above the highs, 2,600, before things kind of peter out and they start, it rolls back over, it kind of just languages in this area. I think, this is a big breakthrough in Bitcoin, and we got to complete this move and take out the liquidity to the upside. And then we can, once things push higher and people are super bullish and we're up here, then you can kind of they can work on distributing, and then we get our big dump down here for like 5 seconds, and then we take off like that. And I don't know what the time frame is for this, but that's the general scenario I see playing out at this point. The question is, on the short term, do we get a bit more of a pullback first? down to this 1.618, 1.382, 1900, 19,500 area. And the reason I think that we can't just go right back into a bear and go down to 1200 is because this daily chart is too strong. This is too strong of a breakout. You don't just break out like this, especially on the weekly as well, and then go back to new lows. It doesn't happen. At most, you get a pullback and then a further push higher. Look at this, even the week. No, yeah. See, daily and the 12-hour are super overbought. So things just need to take a break, pull back a little bit, and then we can see another move higher. That's what I'm seeing here. I'm gonna set an alert actually on this 4-hour when this downtrend is broken on the other side. Then I'll start hunting longs again. So RSI crossing trend line once per bar, create. There you go. So when that happens, I'll start considering long opportunities. I think you'll get them somewhere down here, 19,500, 19,000 area. Again, totally dependent on the S&P. All right, let's look at some altcoins. I mean, we can take a look at Ethereum quickly. It's basically the same as Bitcoin, just with different numbers, right? So I can kind of go through the same thing, but maybe easier to just say where I think the potential buying opportunity is. So if we do a fib, right, it's from here to here, 38.2 is a nice buying area. So 1400, I think this zone right here would be a nice one. 1400 to 1350 is probably a nice zone to start hunting longs. You can see on a daily that would pull RSI back to down to this area right around here, which is perfect long area where things should bounce and can head higher. And we'll get that basically that ABCD move I talked about, right? So if we're from this area, then we go here and we kind of take out all the highs, go up to 1800. I mean, maybe we push higher, go up to above 2000. Got to hunt that liquidity. The liquidity, where the liquidity is, kind of changes the actual target. So I don't think I don't think markets follow TA as strictly as they might have before, because now there are a lot of programs that are programmed to simply look for where the bids are, where the asks are, and hunt liquidity, especially, look at stops more so than anything. Stops. Where are the stops? Let's stop everyone out and then reverse it. So I have to really keep that in mind. Yeah. I see a lot of confluence here and reason for this kind of making sense. We can look at some other coins. Litecoin we can look at. What would you do with Litecoin? Where's my drawings on Litecoin? This one. Maybe on Binance. I had some very nice drawings on Litecoin. I'm a little bit annoyed that I can't find it now. Where's my Litecoin drawing? Definitely not on SDT. No, I don't know where the heck it is. Maybe I had it on a chart and it's just gone now. I think I had Litecoin up on this chart. Let's see if we can go back and yeah, there we go. What is this on Coinbase? I just didn't save it. This is my original Litecoin chart. There we go. Nice. So there's your uptrend on Litecoin. Right, like this daily chart right here. And this was kind of my expectation that we were in a wave 3 and we'd go all the way up to 116, pull back to 100, and then finally hit 140. This is assuming that we had this kind of expansion here. Like this was your kind of preparation area. And then here's your bit of expansion into, I guess, the chaos expansion levels. This actually compressed thing looks a bit better. I think this was a little bit too aggressive. More so like this. Let's pull back here. That final target right there makes a lot more sense. I prefer that. And is that still confirmed? Like how things should look? If this was wave 1, right to here. You reverse that. A bit hard to see on this. I'm not sure it's Let's get rid of that. Yeah, would be the general trend, although this wave 3 is not looking like a wave 3 anymore. It's kind of pulling back a bit. I wouldn't put, I mean, there's a reason I use a lot of things and not just Elliott wave, because I think Elliott wave can be very subjective. And when it works, it's like magic. But other times, like, oh, I didn't, you can get screwed by if you totally put all your faith in it. So that's why I use a lot of other metrics. Elliott wave just provides me with some general targets, but so does using chaos level. I mean, you can see my 3 is here, 3.59 at 100, 4.669 at the ultimate 117 target. General structure is still bullish. This is just a pullback. I'm gonna delete some of these RSI lines down here. What a mess. You can see the breakdown here. And now the question just is, do we break down further? Same as Bitcoin, same as Ethereum. Do we break down further to this area and then take off, or do we just take off from here? I'm going to bet that we break down a bit further. We go like this, A, B, C, D, and like that. And we go down to the 777 area. So I'm gonna actually set an alert on that. Oops, what happened there? I'm gonna set an alert right there on a breach of 79. I'm gonna start looking at things only one time. I'll set another alert down here. So there, real time setting alerts for me to consider longs on certain things. Another coin I like is Link. Link I always enjoy paying attention to. So Link has just been languishing down here. Really just sitting here down here doing nothing. Whole lot of nothing. A little bit disappointing to see this, but sitting at this 88.6 retracement area. If this does ever take off, I think this coin can move up quite quickly up to this $13 area. I think you can easily get a double off of this. This is one of the coins I really like. I think Link is a pretty good company. It's been around for quite a long time. And I have a friend that works in crypto, and specifically on Ethereum blockchain, and he uses some of the Link features often. He often integrates it with products that he's working on, and sometimes he consults with the Link team, and they're very helpful, very professional. I don't think this is, I mean, unless there's some shady stuff going on behind the scenes, right? Like with FTX and certain other coins, then obviously it's a problem. But assuming that's not the case, from my experience, they are a very good company, and the technology is definitely useful in certain applications. So there's Link. I think a lot of people look at FTM as well. FTM just died. Look at that. Phantom. Total just blop. Maybe on a pullback, you can get a push higher. This is kind of your accumulation range. So your expansion would be from here to here. Damn, I hate how it's like chaos levels. Yeah, there you go. All right, so there's your low, kind of like that. 1.618, 2. So your final level is at 50 cents. So maybe a double to take out all the liquidity here. Possible. I don't know if it's the best coin. It's just one of the major coins that I'm considering for little long opportunities on pullbacks. But the biggest thing I think is definitely the DXY, because if that is going to dump like it looks like it wants to, then nothing is safe as far as, you'll get a continuation of the bull move. We're not going to get the bear move that I'm kind of looking for. You can see already the S&P is bouncing back to fill that. This would be 390 on the S&P. So we're on the other side of that 390 call wall. And then the put wall is at 400. So watch, I guarantee we close within this area. That's definitely what's going to happen. I'd be shocked if it didn't happen that way. Small bounce and then roll over next week, maybe just down to this 38.50, maybe down all the way down to my 3,600 target. I'm leaning towards this 3,600, but got to see how things play out. I am mostly out of my high leverage short positions at this point, but I'm holding my longer term short positions still. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I think we're going to call it a day. I think I give you a good amount of trade ideas, kind of updated you on my thoughts on what's going on in crypto, what's going on in commodities, what's going on in general stock land. Let's see, anything. If nothing, then I will call it a night. It is 1 a.m. here. Okay, nice light show tonight. Yeah. All right. Well, as always, everybody, be careful on the weekend, especially in crypto. You know it's always shenanigans. I'm sure there's news coming out again next week. There's always some news. Make sure to check Forex Factory to see if there is a specific day that you need to pay attention to. Oh, as I go into show my SPY trade. Okay, let me grab that. Okay, I can show that. Yeah, I can show the profit if you want to see that. Let me pull up the trading platform and show you guys. I think I gotta log in. 1 second. I forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, let's go to my closed positions here. Yeah, look at the S&P bouncing. All right. All right, so we can see a couple of my, let me share my screen. I'm not going to share the full screen. I'm just going to take a screenshot for you guys. And I will share the screenshot. And you can see all of my trades here and where I closed different trades and where I set certain stop losses and entered. And you can see on the way down, I took a couple trades. Let me try to share the screen where I took the screenshot. Change to new share. Just want to share screen 2. Okay. So here you go. Oh, damn. Low system resources may affect you see how I'm running into this resource problem? Super annoying. Let me take another screenshot and do this again. Okay, there you go. You can see I got into a long and I got stopped out right here on this last one. Let me just make this a bit bigger. Okay, so here are my shorts. So you can see I just loaded with one size of one lot each time. And I originally had my highest short at 408. And I moved my, once we had the breakdown, I went to sleep and I moved my stop to 4008.1 and I got stopped out because we went up to 4013. But the other ones, I had higher stop losses. So they didn't get stopped out. These are my other positions. One was at 390 and one was at 400. And you see, I closed this one at 3935. This one was at 39370. I closed them on the way down. I opened another position, closed it at 3949. These are kind of like little positions. Then finally we came down to this 3920 area. And this is where I was like, okay, we were getting more of a breakdown. So I opened up more positions with slightly bigger size. Here's a 3920, got stopped out at 3901. I just lower it as we go down because the majority of the move had already happened. So these are just like little small positions. And then you can see I took some slightly bigger positions when there was large volatility at the opening, around the opening hours. And these are my final positions before I did the show. I had this on going into the show, this buy, but I got stopped out, as you can see, in slight profit. Those are my trades today on my little high leverage account, which is not that big, but I don't like to use a super big account with very high leverage. This you can go 500x leverage if you want. It's crazy. I keep most of my money in spot accounts where the max is like a 3x ETF. I know from experience that trading high leverage is too stressful with large amounts of money. But if it's anything below like 10K in the portfolio, I don't I don't really bat an eye at it, and it's fine. So yeah, those are my trades today. Here was the shorts, just all from the past kind of 24 hours. As you can see, this was 118, 119, that kind of time frame. All right, hopefully you guys liked seeing that. I can't really see the YouTube. Were these SPY puts or SPX? These are not puts. These is leverage. I don't like using, I'm seeing, sorry, Chris's messages. I don't like using something like UVXY, and I'll show you why. Okay, so here's the VIX, right? So VIX bounced, right? But 3X ETFs screw you, especially something like UVXY. Look at UVXY. UVXY is still at, look at how it just continually goes down, right? So even though the VIX isn't actually at new lows, look at where UVXY is. It just continually goes down. You're even if you're right, you can still be wrong in the case of UVXY. So I don't like trading these type of ETFs. They have so many fees and different issues built into them that you're really, really fighting an uphill battle when you don't have to. You should go straight to the VIX and see if you can trade that in some way. For the S&P, I do have some calls on this SQQ, which is a 3X ETF that does not decay like UVXY. There is some decay, but you can see that it's been pretty stagnant the past year. It's not like UVXY where it's straight down. You can see there is some flexibility in it, right? See the up and down tantrum. So UVXY or SQQ has been rallying a little bit on this reversal. So I took longs all in this area that are in profit now. Yeah, that's my SQQ. And I do have shorts on the video, like I talked about, via puts that I have about I had when I opened them 5 to 6 weeks. So that's that. Those are bigger accounts. And then where I took my SQQ spot position, that's my biggest account. I can't even trade options or any kind of leverage on that account, and I want it that way. I don't want to be tempted to do any kind of higher risk trading with an extremely large portfolio. The high leverage. So the higher, my advice is the higher the leverage, the lower amount of money you should have on that account. And you should have different accounts for every single one. Because if you have a large amount of money on a account where it is even possible to do leverage, there is a high chance that at some point you might get tilted and you might use that account to do that kind of stuff. At least it's happened to me. So that's why I kind of segment everything, and I make sure that my high risk account, super high risk account, is very, very low in size, and mostly it's the market's money. Say I deposit 3,000 into it, I will quickly double that. So this account that I just showed you, which has, I don't know if it showed the amount in it, but this account right now has like $6,500. I originally deposited 3,000 about 2 months ago. I doubled it, took out the initial capital, and then I, just continued to grow it until now it's at 6,500. And I'm going to take out some of that money to pay for, living expenses, reward myself for these trades the past couple days. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's call it a day. Hope you guys again have a great weekend. Make sure to get away from the computer. As I always say, I feel like a broken record here. Go running, spend time with family, exercise, eat healthy food, enjoy time with people, get away from the computer, de-stress. Trading can be extremely stressful. Yeah, just enjoy your weekend and come back. Don't worry about crypto. I wouldn't bother with crypto on the weekends. I think it's normally just shenanigans. And by shenanigans, I mean constant liquidity hunting of retail traders. The big traders that really make the decisions that move the market are generally not trading on Saturday and Sunday. They'll wait until during the week. And that's why you get the big moves during the week. So yeah, that's my weekly advice. All right. I will see you guys next week or on the site. Level 1 through 3 schools have started, by the way, and hopefully those are going well for everybody in level 1, all our new students, and also for all the continuing students in level 2 and 3. If you guys ever need anything, feel free to PM me on the site under Julian. I usually respond within like 24 hours to any kind of request or question, stuff like that. If you have a question that will benefit everyone, try to ask me in the lounge though. So then I'll respond there, and other people can learn from that. Okay. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will talk to you next time. All right. Bye, everybody.